across southeastern North Carolina. Going to be a beautiful day. I hope you have a safe day traveling around southeastern North Carolina. Keep it tuned here on the new 106.7 FM My Talker Radio. I'm Curtis Wright. We're live with Joe DioGuardi from New York.
Before you begin, let me give you an update because I know that you want to know what I'm doing, right?
Okay.
We can always talk about what's going wrong, but I got an update yesterday. I'm going to get a bigger one today from Washington. Let me tell you what they are.
Okay.
One, yes, to get the right accounting system in Washington. You saw my article in the Association of Government Accountants. It was published countrywide 2 weeks ago. I even got a call, believe it or not, from South Korea, the head of the Korean Accounting Standards Board. He said, I think we have the same problem between government accounting and private, so he wants to talk about it. But that's going to now be an educational process to show congressmen and their staff and the press why the accounting system used for the budget process and our financial reports is actually a fraud when you compare it to what we do in the SEC. Number two, the structure of this phony organization that they created after my bill was passed to bring chief financial officers to every one of the major departments and agencies in 1990, that now is going to be subject to a restructuring to put this Federal Accounting Standards Advisory Board for the government system on the same basis as the Government Accounting Standards Board for the states, put them under the main organization that sets accounting principles for everybody, which is the Financial Accounting Standards Board. All right, we'll change the funding mechanism for this unit that prepares the accounting principles. This is the Federal Accounting Standards Advisory Board, but also we're having another report that just came out, and believe it or not, the Treasury Secretary and the Comptroller General signed off but said we can't give the government a clean opinion because the Defense Department still does not give us books that we can audit. So what I'm thinking is we should now put in, with this funding rule that I'm trying to get passed, a provision that says, all right, the funding now comes from the sale of Treasury bills, a little minute part, not from the Treasury Department or the GAO, because then it would be in conflict, because then they would be setting the accounting principles they want. But if we get this little funding mechanism going, or this piece of change coming out of the huge amount of Treasury bills we sell, then you can have a provision and get this one. You're going to love it. That if we don't have a clean opinion, you can't borrow. You cannot sell Treasury bills. What's wrong with that? We got to nip this thing in the bud. I just saw another article that the states are saying, hey, the only way to bring fiscal responsibility to Washington is to have a constitutional convention. And you've got now leaders from the various states. I see here the Tennessee leader, Speaker Beth Harwell. She thinks she's going to get enough states to sign on within the next 2 years to force a convention. You need 34 states. Yeah. We've tried it before.
Georgia's already approved it. Georgia's already approved. Yeah.
Right. Well, there it is. So the point is we got to do systemic structural things, Curtis. We can't just sit here. I'm not blaming you. You're doing the right thing.
Well, no, you know, and you are.
We got to change it.
Well, but Joe, you're right. The point, I think, of frustration that I and so many others have, and the grassroots conservative movement has, is we know we can do something. It's the fact that nobody's doing anything on this side. You know, they're just letting these people run roughshod and throwing stones at them. Stop throwing stones and start flexing your muscles, right?
Well, let me tell you, you saw my article, AGA. It took 6 months to get that article. You saw it last week, my article. We have 2 debt ceilings that appeared in the roll call newspaper in Washington. Very important. I got another one coming out. I hope it's going to be published in The Hill in about another week. It's very complicated. It's on all these government corporations, the 4 big ones, the government-sponsored enterprises like Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac. But guess what I found? Another 30, they call them government corporations, including a Pension Benefit Guarantee Corporation, the Tennessee Valley Authority, and like 28 others. Now, why is this a problem? Because they're not put on the books. And the worst thing is they can bind the United States by borrowing because they have the full faith and credit of the United States behind it. What does that mean? We're guaranteeing everything, like we did with the S&L crisis. We are worse than you think, and I'm trying to peel back this onion so that people begin to understand it before they get, confused by everything that's going on, and they say, I give up, I don't understand it. And that's why I'm now trying to lead the way, like the Pied Piper with that little flute he had, with accountants around America, the 4 major accounting associations. I'm positioning articles with each. I'm going to address their national conventions, whether they're the professors, whether they're the CFOs in the private sector, whether they're the government accountants, or whether they're the certified public accountants in the big that are doing the audits of the major public entities. I feel that they are sleeping. I'm trying to educate them that their values are not being represented. Get beyond all the nonsense you're hearing. Get below the table a little bit and see what's really going on with the numbers. And I think it's going to work.